Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Change doesn't wait. Why should you? Welcome to the Gaia Guild, Global Action Impact Awareness. At GaiaGuild.com, thousands are coming together. Creators, innovators, change makers, building a future that matters. Your membership unlocks events, classes, and connections that spark action. And explore the G3 collection and exclusive guild merch at GaiaGuild.shop. This isn't just talk, it's movement in action. Gaia Guild. Join today. Become a guilder. Visit GaiaGuild.shop.
Hemp X Symposium. Rooted on Earth, blooming in orbit. Infrastructure is changing. Materials are evolving. Measurement is non-negotiable. Hemp X Symposium brings together the architects of regenerative transition, from mutation breeding and agronomic validation to MRV, life cycle analysis, industrial scaling, and more. This is where hemp moves from narrative to performance. April 19th, 2026. Earth Week, New York. Seats are limited. Register today.
Let's take a ride down Kentucky's regulated road, man.
Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Welcome to Sweet Home CannaBama.
Area, at least 10 Cactus League games have changed game times. More details at townhall.com.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority, and Dr. Bill Williams.
The Gulf Coast can expect a few evening clouds, then clear and cool tonight with lows in the lower 30s at daybreak. For Tuesday, sunny and cool with highs in the mid-50s. And the outlook for Wednesday, Mostly sunny and warmer with highs of the lower 60s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams for FM Talk 1065.
It's time for Sweet Home CannaBama, a show that will answer all your questions, provide accurate information, and dispel the myths of cannabis and hemp. You can have your specific questions answered by emailing Jennifer Boozer Stewart at gmail.com or text or call 251-343-0106. And now, for all things cannabis in Alabama and beyond, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer Stewart.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Jennifer Boozer Stewart. You're listening to Sweet Home CannaBama right here on FM Talk 1065 on the Gulf Coast. And we are live streaming from YouTube and all the social media platforms. So if you're watching us live, hit that share button and go subscribe to the YouTube channel so we can spread the good news. I want to get into, we have a new sponsor for the show. I'm so excited for our new sponsor, Cloud9 Vapes. My good friend Cordell Harris is the owner of Cloud9 Vapes. They have 6 locations in the area. And as you know, it has been literal hell on earth for anybody selling hemp products to wait all of these months for an ABC license. And as far as I know, there are less than 10 in the state. I think 9 right now. If anybody else has gotten one in the last couple of days, I haven't heard about it. But 2 of those places are Cloud9 locations right here on the Gulf Coast. One is in Sims and one is in Daphne. They have edibles, they have drinks, they have topicals, they have vapes, and they have 4 more locations that are awaiting a license. The address for the Daphne location is 27080 US Highway 98 Suite B in Daphne, and 7885 Moffett Road, Suite 132 in Sims. Go see Cordell and his crew. They have been fighting tooth and nail to get these licenses so that they can offer these hemp products to you. I know most people have had their hemp products been pulled off the shelves since January 1st. Everybody in Alabama is looking for locations that they can actually purchase these products. And so I'm happy to tell you that Cloud9 in Sims and in Daphne are open for business for hemp products. And if you mention that you heard it on Sweet Home CannaBama, they will give you a 10% discount. So tell them I sent you. And thank you so much to Cloud9 Vapes for making Sweet Home CannaBama possible. I also want to give a shout out to Bo Matheny, our guest from last week with Bo's Tractor Works. He sent me an entire box of all of his salves that we talked about on the show. And they are easily some of the best salves I have ever tried. And I have tried so many kinds of topical products in the last 8 years. My knee has been in a lot of pain recently. And even my own favorite topical was just not doing the job anymore. And I tried a combination that Bo suggested to me. And I'm telling y'all, I didn't even put any on today. And my knee is still 80% better than it was. So if you have joint and muscle pain, go check out Bo's Tractor Works. And I used, just so in case you're trying to order, I used a combination of the Appalachian Forest and the Appalachian Hills 11 together, insanely effective. So I just want to say thank you to Bo and Bo's Tractor Works for those samples because I am absolutely loving them. Our guest tonight is Megan Mbengue. Megan is a revolutionary force behind EntheaCare. Megan is a registered nurse with over 13 years of experience in nursing. In 2022, she founded Trusted Canna Nurse to bridge the gap between patients and the powerful benefits of cannabis as medicine and transitioned to EntheaCare in July of 2025. She and her team also crafted a therapeutic line of hemp products, including tinctures, edibles, topicals, and suppositories, and just published the first study on whole plant suppositories for period pain. After transforming her life through a microdosing program in 2023, Megan expanded her offerings to include microdosing programs. With a master's degree in medical cannabis therapeutics, Megan is a global speaker and is passionate about educating others on the healing power of cannabis and psychedelics. sharing her expertise both in person and online, and ending the stigma of plant medicine. Megan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. You're good. Well, let's get right into it. Tell us, most people that I have on the show did something before they got into cannabis or hemp, especially hemp products. They've only been legal and available for about 7-8 years. So what did you do and how did you get into cannabis as a nurse?
Yeah, so I've been a nurse since 2013, and I was taught everything that medical professionals have been taught about cannabis, and that's like all of the negatives about it, right?
Right.
And so when I started nursing, I was very much like, I had only learned about pharmaceuticals, and we had learned that plant medicine and all of that was not good medicine.
Snake oil.
Yeah, it was snake oil, right? Yeah. That's what we were taught. And I'm proud of myself right now for not saying the swear word that would. I can do an hour without swearing.
Right. Me too.
But anyway, so yeah, I started my nursing career working at Johns Hopkins Hospital, working in bone marrow transplant oncology. Then I switched to labor and delivery, and then I moved out to California, and I was doing home hospice. And it was when I was doing home hospice that I really saw the benefits of cannabis in that patient population.
Right.
And I had this patient, my patient zero is this patient who kept having seizures. She was on 5 or 6 different seizure medications. Nothing was working. And I had read the headlines about cannabis and CBD. Mm-hmm. I didn't know anything about it. The family was down to try, and we're like, okay, great, let's do it. And we had no idea what to give her, how to dose it, how to give it, because she couldn't take anything by mouth. She had the stomach tube and the trach. So we were kind of lost, and I couldn't find, there were people, but they were really hard to find. I couldn't hear anybody, or I couldn't find anybody to help me out with dosing. So I called a dispensary, and they're like, oh yeah, RSO can cure cancer. And I was like, but I don't know if she needs RSO. That sounds like a lot.
Right.
But we ended up doing just a transdermal patch on her. And within the first day, her seizures went away.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. So I guess, like most of us, it only takes one really good experience like that to make you a believer. And I'm sure you can identify with the fact that when you're looking at someone, especially as a medical professional that's been told this one line of thinking, that when you see somebody who's suffering and nothing that is being done helps, and then cannabis does, and it changes everything.
Yeah. That really did change everything. And I wasn't a big consumer myself, because I was a travel nurse. I had to pee in a cup every 3 months. It just wasn't on my radar. And again, I was taught that it was snake oil or dangerous. So then I was like, okay, wait, there's something to this. So then I jumped in the deep end and just started learning everything I could. I started going to cannabis conferences, now that I'm in leadership for some of those conferences. And then I went and got a master's degree in medical cannabis, and then, built my company along the way.
Yeah.
So here we are now in 2026. We just published our first study on CBD suppositories, and yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Well, I don't think anybody that started down this road in whatever capacity would say anything different than it's been a wild ride, because no matter where you are on the spectrum of jobs in this industry and experiences, even from state to state, it's been a wild ride, I think, for everybody, because I was like you. I grew up thinking this is your brain on drugs, the DARE program. I'm from the deep, deep South. And, everything around me told me it was bad, and it was just as bad as heroin. And when first presented it, I was like, no, that's weed. I can't do that. And it was just CBD. And I think one of the most important things that people like you, people like me, who have a love for the education aspect, is teaching people what it isn't is just as important as teaching them what it is, what it does, how it works, and how to use it. Because there's so many people that in the very beginning of a conversation will be like, nope, I don't do that. We got to take a break real quick, but when we come back, we're going to talk more about CBD with Megan Mbengue. Stay with us.
Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay, with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Being blind doesn't always look how others may think. Stargardt disease was supposed to define me.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down. A blinding eye disease attempted to force me away from doing what I was born to do.
But it cannot stop me. I have the tools.
I will keep moving forward.
Pushing past the limits of this disability.
I know where to find support and where I can be seen.
Loss of sight won't blind our vision. Innovative research, educational resources, supportive community. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is leading the charge in finding treatments and cures for blinding diseases. Learn more at fightingblindness.org. A public service message from the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now, with all the information you want about cannabis, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Tonight we're talking with Megan Mbengue. She is a cannabis nurse. And I want to give a disclaimer for the listeners. We are going to be talking about a topic that may seem a little awkward. It's not awkward to me, but I'm a lady. But if it is essential to not only to our female listeners, but fellas, anybody who has a wife, a daughter, a sister, works with women, I mean, you need to know this information, because this is something like what we just discussed. There is this massive issue affecting so many women, most women. And what conventional medicine throws at it typically isn't always working. I don't know anybody that has been able to find any real help from conventional medicine. And Megan has come up with a product that is working. And so we're going to be talking about that. Well, let's talk about dysmenorrhea. I had to look up how to pronounce it, because that is the medical name for moderate to severe period cramps. Correct, Megan?
Yep. Moderate to severe period pain. And I guess you could throw in the other symptoms with that. I think that those are also included.
Right.
The things that can come along with the mood, issues with focus. There's something called presenteeism, which is showing up to work but not being productive because
you're just so miserable. Yeah. Oh, I looked up the definition of dysmenorrhea, and it says symptoms include throbbing lower abdominal cramps, pain radiating to the lower back and thighs, and other issues like nausea, headaches, fatigue, diarrhea, dizziness, bloating, often starting before a period and lessening after a few days. The pain can range from mild to severe and may be accompanied by other physical or psychological symptoms. Like you said, depression, anxiety, being somewhere but not being there because all you can think about is how miserable you feel. I know lots of young girls and women who have to take the day off, take off from school, take off from work. Because, I actually had this for 30 years, and taking CBD orally for me got rid of all of that. And that was a total surprise to me, because that's not why I was taking it. So I was really excited to hear about your study and to get into this. So you did a study on this that was published, a week or so ago, right?
Yeah, just a week ago.
Well, what was the inspiration to do this particular study?
We wanted to do this study because, there was an opportunity to work with this this data collection place. They were like, we need products to study in the real world on real humans.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've already done edibles. We've already done a tincture. And I literally looked behind me at all of our stuff. And I was like, what about suppositories? And they're like, oh my God, that's brilliant. We need to study suppositories because there's so little research. There's a ton of research on oils and gummies and some research coming out in beverages. Those are still relatively new.
Right.
But there's nothing on suppositories.
Right.
So then medical professionals, even in the cannabis space, have been like, there's not enough evidence to support it. I'm like, well, let's see if they're if they actually work.
Right. Well, so tell me, you had a study. There were 79 women in the study, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So what were the predominant symptoms among the participants? Was it a broad range of all the things we've already mentioned? Was there anything sort of specific that kind of everybody dealt with, or was it just a mixed bag?
It was a pretty mixed bag, but still under the umbrella of dysmenorrhea. How we conducted the study was we took the data from women on their first cycle. We measured a cycle without the suppositories, so we could get a baseline to compare it to.
Makes sense.
And then we sent them a box of suppositories, and then they answered the same questions on the next cycle, but with the use of the suppositories, so we could see how it compared. And we looked at the things that we looked at were focus, pain, mood, headaches, nausea, so many other things that can be associated with it.
Right.
And women experience all of that to different degrees.
Yeah. Well, so tell me a little bit about your suppositories. Are they isolate? Are they full spectrum? What exactly goes into the suppositories?
Yeah, our suppositories are actually relatively simple. We take the full extract cannabis oil, FICO/RSO, the CBD dominant, however you want to say it, and then we mix it with cocoa butter, and then we add in the terpenes, beta-caryophyllene, and humulene. And those are very potent anti-inflammatory terpenes.
Yes.
I'm not this can be shared with people, make your own suppositories,
Right.
We love it when people make their own medicine.
Right.
But also, if that's not your thing,
most people don't make their own medicine. It's like home grow. Home grow is amazing, and that is an amazing goal to have, and we should have the right to home grow. But let's face it, how many people are growing their own food, much less their own medicine?
Right.
And there's a margin of error, that's a huge margin of error for the average person who doesn't know how to cultivate cannabis properly or do extraction properly. And there's all sorts of ways that can go wrong. And again, we love when people do their own thing because we should be able to do that. But most people either don't have the time or the skill, or they just don't feel like it. And they would rather be able to pick up a reliable product that they know is safe and made well, and they know exactly what they're getting. And that's exactly what you guys have made, right?
Yep. Yes, exactly.
How many come in a box typically?
We have a 2-pack for people who are just wanting to try it out. In our study, people use an average of just 1.8.
Yeah.
So, but for those who have more severe and need a little bit more, it comes in an 8-pack.
Yeah.
And I'm showing it on camera right now. And the technology we use for these suppositories is very different. Traditional suppositories, you have to peel them apart. You need 2 hands to do it. It's a big pain in the butt. They come apart. It's awful. But now we have this new technology that allows us to first of all, make them easier and then utilize them easier. So it's
nice.
These capsules, the top just pops off and you squeeze it from the bottom and out comes a suppository.
Nice.
And these are recyclable and reusable as well.
Very cool.
So these solve a lot of problems. Isn't it neat?
Yeah. Well, my next question was, how do you use them? But you just explained that. And let's go. How do you use them? Do you use them vaginally or rectally or both? I've been told that rectally is better
because of the amount of blood vessels and things like that, but it makes total sense to use them vaginally as well. So which do you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, vaginally, I would argue that we have more blood vessels going to our vagina than the back end, but I don't know if I can back that up. But I know that like the area is packed with cannabinoid receptors and TRPV receptors, which are the ones that CBD activates. So either way, in our study, about 15% of people did use them rectally. They said because their flow was so heavy that it just made more sense for them to do it that way.
Well, and that's another thing to consider, because some people deal with it that's just so heavy that wouldn't seem like it would make very much sense. So using it rectally would definitely be a fantastic alternative. And either way, it's going to be absorbed in the mucous membranes and straight to the bloodstream without having to go through the digestive process and the liver pass. So it's very bioavailable that way.
Yeah, we don't know how much gets absorbed into the systemic bloodstream. That's another study that we definitely needs to be done. But one way to tell is, okay, well, did people feel high, or did they get other systemic effects?
Right.
And only like 1 to 2% said that they actually felt quote unquote high or euphoric. It wasn't a bad euphoria.
Yeah.
And then the fact that it helps people with focus and with mood.
Right. That would indicate that it does reach the bloodstream in some capacity, because it's all the way up here and you're putting it in way down there, and it's getting to the neurological receptors and helping with things like mood and focus and neurological symptoms. So I think that it's safe to say that at least some of it reaches the bloodstream, which makes it an all around really good an effective way. The Alabama medical cannabis dispensary products, there are very few products that will be available, but one that will be available is suppositories. And so many people make fun of this method of use or they dismiss it. Everybody wants to make a joke about butt stuff and all that. It's very mature. But would you say they are actually incredibly effective for people, like you said, who can't have anything by mouth even? A chemo patient that can't keep anything down can use a suppository. It's very bioavailable and all that. I mean, even if it's not for pelvic pain or colorectal issues, suppository is still a very effective delivery method.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say that it's a very American thing to be so squeamish about suppositories.
Right.
It's completely like normal thing in like Europe and Australia.
Really?
So, because we have this like this puritanical view of, sexuality and everything that suppositories are like, people get squeamish about it. But that's just American. But everywhere else, it's standardized. So I think if people recognize that, like a lot of medications in other countries are delivered this way.
Right.
It's one of the oldest forms of delivery.
Yeah.
Of cannabis.
Right. And I've even seen crazy TV and movies where different types of drugs are used this way for that reason, because I'm sure they're not thinking that in their mind when they're using like cocaine that way, but it is very quick. It's the uptake is quick. It's very bioavailable, and it's a very effective way to get something into the body and throughout the system. We got to take another break. When we get back, we're going to talk more about suppositories with Megan Mbengue. Stay with us.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority, and Dr. Bill Williams.
The Gulf Coast can expect a few evening clouds, then clear and cold tonight with lows in the lower 30s at daybreak. For Tuesday, sunny and cool with highs in the mid-50s. And the outlook for Wednesday, mostly sunny and warmer with highs in the lower 60s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams for FM Talk 1065.
Good afternoon. I'm Peter Albrecht, WKRG News 5. Mobile police continue to investigate a deadly shooting at a convenience store. No arrests made yet after the incident yesterday on Martin Luther King Avenue. Investigators watched surveillance video that shows someone get out of a car, go inside the store, then come out and shoot someone in the car. That victim has not been identified. Police also investigating after a woman showed up at an emergency room this weekend. She told police a man she knew had strangled her at a house on Dublin Street in Maysville. No arrests yet. Just 4 days before the NCAA tournament, one of Alabama's top players gets arrested. Aiden Holloway arrested today on marijuana possession charges in Tuscaloosa. No word on his status for Alabama's opening game Friday in Tampa against Hofstra. Meantime, South Alabama will play at Auburn tomorrow night in a first-round NIT game. South has only played 2 games in the last 2.5 weeks and has lost them both. I'm Peter Albrecht, WKRG News 5.
Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now with all the information you want about cannabis, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Sweet Home CannaBama Radio right here on FM Talk 1065 every Monday night at 7 o'clock across the Gulf Coast. And we are live streaming. So share, subscribe, tell your friends. Tonight we're talking with a cannabis nurse, Megan Mbengue, and we are talking about her published study using CBD suppositories for dysmenorrhea or moderate to severe period pain and endometriosis. Did anybody in the study that you did have endometriosis, or was it just strictly for dysmenorrhea?
There were people with endo. There was, I'll call it a glitch in the study, that we asked people if they had dysmenorrhea or if they had endo, fibroids, IBS, all the medical conditions. Mm-hmm. But because of the glitch, that data didn't come along with the study data. So we know that women answered yes, but we just don't know which percentage of women did.
Okay. All right.
Unfortunately.
Well, it would stand to reason. I know that I have definitely had people use suppositories for endometriosis pain before, and it was incredibly effective. So I'm going to assume that the same applies here, because what I had sold was only isolate CBD suppositories. That was the only product I could find on the market 5 or 6 years ago whenever I started selling those. And so I'm excited because yours are much more than that, including the terpenes and everything that you mentioned. So I imagine that they would be even more effective. We know that having multiple components of the plant in an entourage is better than an isolated cannabinoid by itself. As wonderful as CBD is on its own, it is much more effective with all the other cannabinoids and terpenes in play. So I think that if anybody listening is interested in this is the brand to try, because this has everything you could possibly need, and it's very thoughtfully created from where I sit, because like I said, the only other suppository that's freely available on the hemp market is an isolate product made by one company. And even those worked really, really well. So what was the overall result of using the suppositories within the study?
We measured a number of different things. One of the primary results was that we measured pain before and after suppository use, and that decreased by over 55% on average.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's huge.
Yeah, that is huge.
Pain by over half.
No matter what other symptoms you have, the pain is what really knocks you to your knees and makes it so hard. Like you said, when you're present at your job, but you're not mentally present, because of that pain factor. I mean, I know for me in any type of pain, that's all your brain can concentrate on. And it does. It makes us duller and slower and less capable of what we normally are very capable of. So I think that a 55% reduction, and I'm sure that that means some people saw a 40%, but some people might have seen an 80%.
Yeah.
You know, that's just kind of the average, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
What about the mental health part? I mean, did a lot of the people in the study get that mental health relief as far as being able to focus or, being able to sleep when you're in that much discomfort?
Right. I don't think we looked at sleep, but we saw significant improvements in mood, focus, cramps, nausea, and headaches.
Yeah.
Like on days 1 through 5, and days 6 and 7, there were just so few people using them at that point.
Right. Right. Well, and the beautiful thing about using CBD, especially in a full spectrum way, once you have used it for several days in a row, it has that cumulative effect. Like I said earlier, I had tried this new salve on my knee Saturday and Sunday. I didn't even have to put it on today because I still feel better. And I just got busy and forgot to do it, but I still feel better today, even though I haven't used it in over 24 hours. It has that cumulative effect, but also by 6 and 7 days, most people are winding it down. Now, there's people like me. I don't know if you saw any people like this. When I was between the ages of 12 and almost 30, I would go 12 to 18 months without having a period. But when I got it, it would be 3 weeks of absolute hell on earth. And did you have anybody in the study that had really extreme situations, or were these kind of average 7-day cycle women?
Most of them were average 7-day cycle, or like average monthly. Because of the way the study was set up, one of the criteria had to be getting a regular period.
Right.
Because we can't wait 18 months between.
Right.
cycles,
of course. Yeah. And I still to this day have no idea why that happened. I was told I might never have children, and I had 3. So, it's one of those things that you don't really know. But all I know is when I started using CBD orally, within a month, I had less pain. I had no breast tenderness. I had no crazy gin brain where I hear Finding Nemo in the background of Walmart and start to bawl, just nutty.
Yeah.
And all those symptoms, I just didn't have them. And I was like, what is wrong with me? This is weird. And then, of course, I went through the stages of perimenopause, and now I'm more than a year on the other side of that. I had hot flashes for like 3 months, and it was one of the most stressful 3 months of my life as we were getting ready to lose the store and dealing with legislation and all that high stress. So I had hot flashes, but that was pretty much it. My husband will probably tell you I was a little snappy at times, but but really the symptoms of perimenopause and going into menopause have been completely minimal for me because of that constant supply of CBD into my body. So I know that that these are probably an answer to prayer for a lot of people. Have you thought about doing a suppository for perimenopause, postmenopausal women?
Yes, these can potentially help with that. The thing is with the vaginal dryness that happens in that life stage is that it's hormone driven. I mean, it's all hormone driven, but it's not necessarily like inflammatory. So I think it could potentially help, but if it's because it's hormone driven and a hormone depletion, it really is hormones that are going to help with that specific issue. That being said, there are a lot of women who say, oh my gosh, these are great.
I was going to say, the increase in blood flow and the extra lubrication from the suppository melting. I mean, there's a ton of ways that if it doesn't fix the hormonal issue every day you can use it, ahead of sex or when you're probably going to be having sex, use them, and it can relax the muscles. I mean, you could talk about sexual trauma. There are women who have sexual trauma from abuse or sexual assault that their muscles will just clamp down and it's painful and it's traumatic and they can't relax. Yep. And all the ways that the suppository is going to add value to that situation and not only help them in the area we're discussing, but also in their head and in their muscles and their ability to relax and focus and be in the moment. I think that is invaluable too. I know a lot of women my age are going through this. And even talking to my mom, who's in her late 60s, about, all of the progression into that age, there continue to sometimes be issues for a lot of women. And I think that even if you're past the point of having a regular period, if you are having symptoms down there, that it would definitely be worth a try, because like you said, you have seen people swear by it. I have seen people swear by it. And when you look at what CBD does topically and within the mucosal absorption and all that, I mean, it has so many different benefits. I saw a video that you shared from a year ago or right before before you did the study, when you figured out the suppositories were actually working and you were in tears. And I want to ask you, what about discovering that they worked made you so emotional?
I think that that was like when I had just gotten off the call with the team who helped us with the study, and we had gone over the data. And that was the first time seeing the data. And I had completely detached myself from the results, because there's no research to support whether or not suppositories work. So maybe they don't work.
Right.
And I had to be okay with that. But then to find out that not only did they work, but they worked really well for people, incredibly well. And so just seeing that data was just so validating of all of our hard work, validating of the plant itself and the delivery method that this is something that we have, that humanity, that women have known for millennia as a valid delivery method of this valid plant medicine. And here we have hard data to back it up that we can publish.
Let me ask you this. Did you, and I hadn't thought about this till just now, did you have anybody in the study that said, nope, didn't work, didn't do a thing?
Yeah, we had some people. It was very few people, that maybe it decreased pain by a little bit. I think there was one person that said that she woke up in worse pain the next day, which is interesting. Okay. Yeah. We know it's not going to work for everybody.
Right.
So yeah. And I think that for most people, it helped at least to some degree.
Right.
And average, it helped a lot. But yeah, I think that there were a couple that it didn't do anything for them. And maybe a lot of these women were already cannabis users.
Yeah.
So maybe their tolerance was already high, or whatever reason.
Right. Well, I was going to say, it's a lot like any other type of delivery method. Not everything is one size fits all. So there may be women who, I don't know how many milligrams the suppositories are, but maybe some of the women needed a higher amount of milligrams than the others. And some, it was, the one that said it made the pain worse, maybe that was too much and it had some weird effect. But, there's an average baseline that at least gives some effect for everybody. And then there's people like me who need 3 times more than the average person for whatever reason. That's what works for me, And so I think that variable, but like you said, some people don't even use 2 whole suppositories, and you can cut them. I used to tell people, if you want to start slow, cut it long ways and use half of it and put the other half in the freezer. Because I think the ones that we sold were 110 milligrams. So, which was a lot for most people.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It's not a lot for me, but it's a lot for most people. And then I think the menopause version was only 50 milligrams. And that could still be a lot for some people. So I think that, there's a lot of variables. The beautiful thing is that we recognize that just like us, the plant there are huge varieties in potency and effectiveness and what they're great for. When we come back from the break, we're going to finish up with Megan Mbengue. Stay with us.
Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
We weren't sure adoption would happen for us, but when it did, it happened threefold.
Mary and her husband first met their 3 children when they became their foster parents. Little did they know that their house would become the siblings' forever home.
We had to help them adjust to the idea that they wouldn't have to leave. Children in foster care have lived and survived so much. We had to help them process their trauma. And now to hear our children say that they know they have a mother and father who take care of us, teach us, and love us means everything.
The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is committed to finding safe, permanent homes for the longest waiting children in foster care.
I not only love these kids, I am just so proud of them.
You can help. Visit davethomasfoundation.org.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now with all the information you want about cannabis, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sweet Home CannaBama. We've been talking with Megan Mbengue, a cannabis nurse who has done a study on CBD suppositories for dysmenorrhea, which is moderate to severe period symptoms and endometriosis. Megan, what are some of the alternative reasons to use suppositories? I know we kind of talked about this a little bit.
Yeah. Our study was on women for period pain, but men can actually really benefit from suppositories. We have a number of men purchasing our suppositories for hip pain, back pain. Potentially, in my head, it makes sense that it would help with prostate issues.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But I haven't had anyone report directly to me that it has.
Right. It makes sense, though, because a lot of prostate issues are caused by inflammation. It's funny because of the few people that have ever called into the show in almost 7 years, 2 out of maybe 5 calls were guys calling about erectile dysfunction. And I know that sometimes that is a psychological issue, but a lot of times it is a physical issue that involves inflammation of the prostate. And like you said, using it in that area of the body makes sense that it would help that because it's going to go there first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, you can use it for colorectal issues and all sorts of things in the pelvic region and the lower half of the body. I would think even maybe it would be more effective to use it that way for something like sciatica.
Yep. That sort of pain. And then for the cancer patients who want to take higher doses but don't want the oral delivery, a lot of them use suppositories because they can do hundreds of milligrams but don't necessarily feel high from it.
Right. And then there are kids with seizure disorders or different illnesses where, like you said, that they have a trach or they have to be, they have to use a feeding tube and they can't take anything by mouth. I mean, we all know, we've all given a baby a Tylenol suppository for a fever, when they were sick and couldn't hold anything down. So, but yeah, as chemo patients that are just puking their little hearts out, I mean, that would be an incredible way to use it because it does bypass digestion and all of those things. And I imagine that the bioavailability and the delivery time would probably be a little better too.
Yeah. And again, this is data that we don't necessarily have yet. But
we do have plenty of anecdotal stories to back it up. But,
a mountain of anecdotes.
Most people in white coats dismiss anecdotal evidence. But yes, there is plenty out there. I'm sure you talk to people every single day, and I know I did. And, you get creative. When something doesn't work, you find a workaround. There's so many different products. Like I said before, the plant is as diverse as humans are.
Yep.
And all of the factors that go into what is necessary for that person, DNA and genetics and diet and environment and metabolism and their condition, what medications that they're using and things like that. Mm-hmm. Are there any medications that you know of that people shouldn't use a suppository if they're on a particular type of medication?
Because it's not interacting, it's not, being processed through the liver.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I can think of right now. Of course, talk to a medical professional if you're on a ton of meds.
Right.
But with medications, I will say something interesting that we found was that between the phase without the suppositories and the phase with the suppositories, that there was a 70% reduction in medication use.
Nice. That's always a good sign. That's always a good sign. Yeah. It's incredible. I want you to be able to talk about this. You are preparing for an event to help educate medical professionals who want to be able to fully understand the plant and CBD and THC and all the things and be able to better advise their patients on how to use hemp and cannabis products. I know in the state of Alabama, to be a certified cannabis physician, it only required a 4-hour online course, which is crazy to me because holy crap, there's so much more information than that. But tell us about your event, what's it called, where it's at, where it's going to be, and how we can get more information on that.
One of the events that I'm thinking that you're talking about is CanMed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it that one? Yeah. So CanMed is a medical cannabis conference. This is my 5th year going and being involved with them. I've spoken at them. I've done posters. And this is really my favorite medical cannabis conference because it's not like, MJ Biz is such a huge event with thousands and thousands of people.
I've been there. Yep. It's chaos.
It's chaos. CanMed is very intimate. They keep it at a couple of hundred people. Everybody stays at the same place, and it's usually a really nice place.
Yeah.
A nice resort. Last year we were in Puerto Rico. This year we're in Lake Tahoe. Everybody stays in the same place. So we all eat meals together. And it's just so easy to be able to, have a meal with people like Bonnie Goldstein and Dustin Sulak, these world-renowned researchers and physicians in the space. And it's just really special, like all of the events that they have, and the learning opportunities are just incredible. They have a medical practicum, like an 8 to 10 hour day before the conference even starts. And that's where people can go to learn about the basics of the ECS and medical cannabis and delivery methods. And this year they're even covering extraction methods. And this year they're covering like mental health across the lifespan in cannabis use, and pregnancy. So they're covering some really great topics this year. Ethan Russo is going to be there, so it's an incredible event. And if people have the opportunity to go, you don't have to be a medical professional to go.
Yeah.
There are a lot of just patient advocates and just patients who want to go to learn more come to this conference.
Right. Do you know where, if somebody's listening and they are a medical professional, they want to get this deep dive into medical cannabis, where can they go to find out about the conference?
Yeah. So they can go to canmedevents.com to learn about it. If they would like I have a link for a discount, and they can just email me for that link. And that's Megan at EntheaCare.com.
Okay. Where can our listeners go to find your products? And tell us a little bit about I know I listed them in the beginning, but tell us the types of products that you have and where we can find them and get more information.
Yeah, we have whole plant oils, edibles, topicals, and suppositories. We are very medicinal. We work a lot with the minor cannabinoids. We have an award-winning CBG oil. This one first placed for top CBG product last year
nice.
From Green State. Yes. And I just spilled it all over my desk and my keyboard right before we got on.
Liquid, and that's liquid gold, man. People don't give CBG enough credit.
Yes, CBG is the GOAT, definitely.
Yes.
I'm like licking it up in between here. So people can find those products at EntheaCare.com. I put out social media content all the time, and it's at Enthea.care or at EntheaCare on the major platforms. I'm not really on X much, but TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
Well, I wanted to mention to the audience before we get done, because we're almost out of time, but you also published a study on cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, and that has been a huge topic in the press. I was going to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot and say, are you willing to come back another week and let's talk about that? Because that is controversial and people need to know what the right information is. So I hope that you'll consider coming back on the show to talk about CHS with us based on that study as well.
Absolutely. Yes, that's something I'm also really passionate about. Look, I would love to come back.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for being here tonight, guys. We're out of time. I just want to remind you that Cloud9 Vapes is now the new sponsor of Sweet Home CannaBama, helping us keep the show on and popping every week and giving you the information that you need. If you go to the Daphne or Sims location, they are licensed to sell hemp, and I believe they are the only business in Mobile and Baldwin County who are licensed to sell hemp products. So go visit Cordell and his crew at Cloud9 in Sims and in Daphne, and if you tell them that you heard it on Sweet Home CannaBama, they're going to give you a 10% discount, so we appreciate you. And again, another shout out for Bo's Tractor Works. If you got an ache or a pain or a pimple problem or a rash, Bo's Tractor Works got a salve for you. So go see him. He's on social media, and you can find him on my Facebook page as well. And you should go back and listen to last week if you were not with us live, because Bo was giving us all sorts of great information. Thanks again to Megan for being here. We'll see you next week on Sweet Home CannaBama. God bless you, and God bless American hemp.